Gati gati paragati parasamgati bodhisvaha. Gati gati paragati parasamgati bodhisvaha. Gati gati paragati parasamgati bodhisvaha. Gati gati paragati parasamgati bodhisvaha.
So then, if you meet in my Lama, he will help me to see that, then that is total devotion. That's unless you see Buddha nature inside you, if you don't see that, then your devotion is very outward. Very outward, it doesn't affect it at all. You make Lama a cup of tea, or you cook Lama and wash your feet, you drink that water, and all sort of thing like that. But Jenny, of course, is very easier to see Lama as Buddha, because in Tibet it's all our teachers so good and anything like that. Then they said to me, that's not your devotion, Chin. That's not your devotion. Devotion is, why you come to me? Well, I come to you because I realize I have a Buddha nature inside me, and I didn't recognize that. Therefore, I come to see you to help me to recognize. Then that my teacher will say, well, you've got a devotion now, because you can see that inside you. I think that's the very, very, very important devotion. We're going like that, devotion like that. So therefore, everyone here, you want to follow the path, and my Buddhas, that's it. You have to see yourself, this quality inside you. Every one of us here, all equal. But then perhaps a few years ahead of you, me, sort of might recognize maybe a little bit earlier than you. So therefore I come over here, I just sort of talking like that, and you will be the same. You will be the same. Like 2,500 years, we were same time as the Buddha. The Buddha was no different from us. But why are we behind you? Why are we behind you? Probably we only saw the Buddha outside, and we didn't see the Buddha inside ourselves. I think that's very easy. Too close, you don't notice. Like if there's a really big tree, you too close that tree, you won't see the whole tree, do you? So there were only two problems. One is so simple, you do not believe. And I said that too, said my teacher. Serious, I said, I was studying the practice, then I reached there and I said, this is so simple. He said, that's everybody's problem, Chili. Everybody's problem, therefore you don't believe. You don't believe in that. And so therefore I think Tirupa's member, the teachings fit in the West. There's one quite interesting, everybody could question, is that Tirupa did not have any human teacher, his first one, at all. When he was a little boy, and he sort of looked up Buffalo, he's riding on a buffalo like that. At the moment that Tirupa was born, and the mother was near him, there's one old lady come out, and looked like this old lady going to harm the Tirupa, you know. And the mother went and protected the Tirupa. This old lady said to mother, said, you take care of this boy. This is a very important boy in the world. And that was absolutely in Dakini. So Tirupa's his transmission moved from Dakini. When he right Imam Buddha, he posted first to the Dakinis. And also, when he was looking after buffaloes, the 4 Dakinis come up to him, says you go such and such areas, you over there you can study. So therefore, all the Dalupas Imam Buddha transmissions stick to from Dakinis. Now what you have to do is Dalupa's teachings, all of you here, is you sit, relax. I'm teaching you Dalupa's only working class way. See, and if I don't teach working class ways, we have to go someplace very quiet, mountainous. We're sitting on a serious. I'm very serious, very working class way, because as participant, I can sit there and relax. As soon as you relax, I think that you feel. I think you begin to see the true nature inside you. Now what happens is all of you will have problems, and when you sit, relax, then you have to open. That you have to use the word open. Maybe there's nothing you can open, but you have to use that word. But people in the West, you have a fear. You fear of opening. So even between husband and wife, even between children and parents, you have a fear. You have fear of opening. That's very serious, and you have to. Now, very simple, remember the teachings. You open the door. If I shut my door, I have not very much space. And if you open your door, I open my door, there's plenty of space. When you have a plenty of space, then no fear. There's no room. There's no space at all. But of course, then it's very complicated. Is really there's nothing you can open. You think with it, of course. When you realize that there wasn't at all. There wasn't at all. And then at the moment, the people in the West is when they practice Imam Buddha is you have no space. No space. It's everybody sort of close up. That's how you culture. That's how you brought up. How you brought up doubt, fear, worry. And I would like to put one nice word is unnecessary thoughts. That's what I use. But of course, very often text they use a dualistic or conceptual thought. People say these I put very simple language is unnecessary thought. If you sit, relax, look at inside, whatever you comes in your mind that it goes, you look at it very, very careful. Almost, how is that unnecessary? How does the unnecessary disturbs you? Disturbs you. This is the first thing my teacher would say to me, Jimmy, you drop these unnecessary thoughts. I like that word, rather than Jimmy, drop this dualistic mind. Of course, that is very much philosophy, or like the conceptual thought. I like this English word. Unnecessary. Something you're sitting on there, worries, anxiety, is quite unnecessary. Quite unnecessary. You look very, very careful, really unnecessary. And I like that very much. I always say to my students, unnecessary thoughts. Unnecessary. And the same, like of course, Dalupa's Imam Buddha teaching, not only for the enlightenment, between your family, friend, children, something there are a lot of unnecessary thoughts, very unnecessary thoughts, very unnecessary thoughts. And so, if you don't have an unnecessary thought, then that will be your very simple life. Very, very simple life. And I tell you very good things is I've been now in the West more than 45 years. And when I first came, and everybody said, your Tibet is wonderful. Or up there in the mountains, you're in the heaven, you're all gods. I said, oh, no, they're horrible. We are horrible people. I went back to Tibet in 1982. Most wonderful experience ever my life ever had. I think in the Western expectation, the Western concept of Tibet is only exists in remote area mountains of nomad people. And if you go up higher, remote, and nomad people, then it really exists. Then because I have a childhood friend, and he's alive. He's alive, and he's so like 36 years, not more than. He's got 6 children. I was really feel that I just speechless myself. I try to make him worry. I'm not succeeding. I try every possible thing. Why did you know? Why did you know? Money, security, children. He can't work. This is impossible. I was sitting next to him, really, I think this is maybe when I first came in the West and he says, oh, this Tibetan like God or something like that, and maybe he's the one, Absolutely. Totally. Never ever exists boredom, unhappiness, and worry. I said to him, what are going to happen to your children? I'll tell you, money, not succeed. Income. And so therefore, if you don't have unnecessary thought, then that's why. That this person does not have any unnecessary thought. The word is not a very nice word, but called surrender. That's the basis, and you can put it a very difficult way, and you can surrender to your husband, you can surrender to your wife, you can surrender to your children, you can surrender to your parents, and so on. That word of the surrender, you will all have a fear. We all have a fear, really. Oh, I wouldn't dare to surrender. I wouldn't dare to surrender, I wouldn't dare to surrender. I think that's it. I think Margaret the text does use word of surrender. Now I'm very interested. Now we much more easier than what you thought. Wow, you think you have to surrender to the Lama your life? No. You surrender your body to the Lama? No. You surrender to the Lama, you give all money? No. You surrender? No. What is then surrender? You have to surrender the unnecessary thought. Unnecessary thought. If you surrender the unnecessary thought, everything will flow. Flow. Between husband and wife, between parents, children. You're not going to surrender for the children. Doesn't mean your children can walk over you, anything like that. If you have some sort of unnecessary thought your children, and you drop that, and that will work. That will work. So therefore, everybody think, oh well, now I have to surrender to my teacher. I have to cook for him. I have to clean for him, and so I be with him. That my surrender. That in a Western concept. Now, very important part of working class Bangladesh. Most of the Mahasiddhi's teachings, paradox, all the time paradox. That's what they call it, and that's right, I got it. If you don't want to surrender, then there is surrender. If you surrender, if you want to surrender, there's no surrender. Now, that's very easy. That's very easy. That, oh gosh, I don't want to surrender my unnecessary thoughts. Then there is surrender. You have to surrender. So if you say, I want to surrender, there's nothing surrender. And I have to think to myself, if I think I'm perfect, I'm imperfect. If I think I'm imperfect, then the possibility I become perfect. But one thing that I like very much, I'll tell you, is my own experience is when I was working, I'm in a cafe. No more people, only people. These people, they don't know me. I'm like 10th Rinpoche Lama, who I've been meditating 33 years. Really fun. If they can't imagine somebody sitting right there having a cup of tea, if they know who the hell I am, it'd be amazing. So when I sit next with them, then I feel very holy. Really. Serious, I feel I really love. I feel spiritual. I feel a great spiritual experience I have. As soon as I teach it. I have my summer camp in South France, and 500 people. And then when I come there, everybody, my friends, their adulation. And then I sit on the floor. I don't feel very holy. Because this 500 people, their expectations, you know. Oh, what am I going to do? I'm very uncomfortable. There's really series of 500 people, their love, their adulation. What are you going to do? If I told this one old man sitting next to me, very good, the temple is so small, and he's sitting opposite of me, and he's complaining about his wife. Oh, my wife is doing this, my wife is doing that. But I said to him, excuse me, what you need space. He says, space? He said, where did you get that word? Oh, what just got in my mind, you know. What is the space? He said, when you see we've got a small temple between us. Yeah, we're uncomfortable, I would say yes. So we have a little bit more space. We wouldn't be uncomfortable. The next day he come and he's sitting there and said, excuse me, are you a priest? I said, no. I know what you said yesterday really works. that I think the inspiration of my cities. My cities are all in ordinary way of life. Ordinary way of life. And I feel that very strongly because if I was in Tibet, I would never have that experience. I never, ever would have experienced sitting normal people in the cafe. And every time I sit in there, if I tell them, they'll pass out. I'm really interested in that cafe. Everybody, it's called John or Peter, or something like that, they know their name. They call me Jimmy. Oh, hi, you know. And they don't know them. Really nice. You know? And then I said, they don't know who the hell man sitting next to me. And there she serves, take the coffee. She's very, very spiritual. So she watches over me all the time. She says, do you know, you're very unusual. Unusual. I said, well, between you and me, yes, I am. And really, I said to her, I said, but that's what I thought. Then she asked me. And then I said, I was Tibet Lama, and the Buddhist teacher, she said, what is a Buddhist? He said. And then said, well, Buddhists help to remove the suffering. Then once she removed the suffering, didn't have a peace. And she said, I don't think I needed that. I know the suffering, she said. Oh, Tina, that's right. That's right, you don't need it. Huh? Then I said, Tina, how do you like working here? Hell. Tina, that's the suffering. Oh, Jimmy. Then I have a million. Then I really need it. Then I need a Buddhism. That's a Buddhism. And then she said, that's what the Buddhas really be to you, because you talk very simple. Suffering, cause of suffering. If you know the cause of suffering, you remove the suffering, then you peace and death, and no involved religion. I was sitting, that's a nice one. But then I said to Tina, that's problem. I said, your cause of suffering is working here. My child come out, everybody in the street they stand up. My daughter was speechless with me when we went into Tibet. She never knew before because she wanted to go with me to Tibet. We went into Tibet, arriving the usual. Everybody in the street stand up, my child. Dad, oh, get up for you. she said to me, I really don't know who you are yet. And then the expectation people so high. And our teachers have to meet everybody in very vital. Buddhism, very, very vital. But only I can meet the experience with people. If I look at my teachers, they're authentic. And I have their teachings. Whatever I say to you today, and this transmission comes straight from them. Just only I repeat. That enjoy. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I can repeat that. It's really comfort direct. I myself, a lot of inspiration. Look back to my teachers, really, really, really fantastic. Really fantastic. Therefore, I think everybody over here, you're lucky, not meeting me. You're lucky you can hear this word, which transmissions come straight from Telugu to Mother, then my 4 teachers, to you. I'm here, station. You can receive the message very easily. Much more easier to explain the transmissions. Otherwise, people think how, like say, examples. If my Lama in Tibet, and he can do some, I use more religious word, some blessing, and he throw rices from Tibet, it can reach here. And then, in ancient times, very difficult to explain that one. But today, like when I have first time facts, I very speak like that. Facts that somebody in India, they put this letter in the fax, and they printed my fax. So say like that transmissions. I mean, it's so much distance from here to India. In 1 second, they printed this letter. So same like transmissions, because they always say the distance between the teacher is not exist. It's not really true. But I think you're quite right. I think what my mother tells to talk about different channels, and then different energies you flowing So that's exactly what you said, that like different stations. And you're quite good, I think, if you try to switch on your radio, and if you want to have something like BBC or something like that, if you don't correctly, you want to receive, you understand? So therefore, I think like transmissions from lamas, like similar like that, the lamas give you the key. So to say, you put on the F6 or F10, and they switch on there, then you can hear BBC. The transmission is exactly the same that what we say to the, you go to the authentic teacher. I mean, authentic teachers will give you the what they call a combination key. We could say aeons. We are in a cage, aeons. That's it. So now, meeting Telopa, Telopa's teachings, you begin to realize you're in a cage, but you want to get out. Get out from the cage. That's what it is. And then, I think what's wonderful things is everyone knows we're in a cage. Everyone knows in a cage. Everyone knows we want to get out. That's no doubt at all. And nobody going to disagree with me now. Nobody going to disagree with me. Say, would you like to stay in that cage forever? No. Would you like to get out from that cage? Yes, I think that. Then you could easily say to me, is, so when you have experienced a luminosity mind, then how do we know we enjoy? How do we know enjoy? And it's very simple and very easy. I would say to everyone, says, if you're in a cage, you get out from the cage, you get a freedom, how much you'll be enjoying. Everybody say, well, please, amazed when I got out from the cage, my freedom, everything's wonderful. That's it. That's it. I think literally, it means Mahamudra, it means their way of freedom. Of course, intellectually, the translation is the Maha is the great, Mudra is gestures. But me, I would say their way of freedom. So that's what it is. So therefore, everybody wants the enlightenment. I think it's saying you have freedom. That's freedom. Then now what have you done is freedom is not outside. That's the very difficult one. The freedom is well, you come out from the cage, so then you're free, but you're not. You're not. Sometimes you're not. I think that's the difficulty. That's very difficult to come out like that. So therefore, I think we need sort of a lot of clarity. You know, clarity. If you have a clarity in your mind, and then everything goes well. Everything goes well. There's a peaceful gold inside you. That's it, you know. Peaceful gold inside you, that's 100%. And that is sometimes people use it as enlightenment or called ultimate realities, and we call it total awareness, or they call it naked awareness, and also what they can use. But that one, we have each one. So now what the interesting thing is, they uses the example of the sun. I don't know in India they use the sun, and they're not really talking about the sun. It's about they use the quality of the sun. That's what they use, quality. And quality of sun is very bright, very, very clear. So how much cloud come in the sky, an effect on the sun. How much you throw dust, dirt on the sun, no one can prevent the ray of the sun. So they use it that. They're not really exactly talking about the sun, they're talking about the qualities. Same thing inside us. We have luminosity minds. That's what I call it. Luminosity of mind, or luminosity and emptiness, they call it. I don't like word emptiness at all, because if you learn Tibetan, in Tibetan language is really very difficult to use that word emptiness. Emptiness is very quite difficult. But probably everybody uses that. That's probably as far as we have that word. Now inside us, and this luminosity mind, we have how many lifetimes we've been bad or wicked, nasty, everything that did not affect our real luminosity at all. Same like sun. Sun is like aeons. There be many clouds and many sun is still bright and light. Same as our luminosity mind. When you're wicked, that doesn't mean your luminosity mind is died away, not at all. Still, yeah, as somebody is rich, they have luminosity mind. Somebody is poor, they have this luminosity mind. And we do not have to be rich, poor, intelligent, dumb, anything like that. If it did, but that did not affect our inner true nature. So therefore, the true nature of inside is unaffected. Otherwise, a lot of people think about it as people are wicked or nasty or bad. That means luminosity mind disappears. When it's good and wonderful, then you bring back the luminosity not at all. Either you're good or bad, the luminosity mind is still there, unaffected. So therefore, obviously, when you become enlightened, when you have experienced a true nature, your mind, it has been there long time. Every time I say the me, me. And now this afternoon I wasn't able to locate it. I mean, that's caused a little bit of headache. Don't you think so? Don't you think? Came in and said there's no me. Oh, me. Well, I think very logical. Very logical. I mean, difficult to locate it as because my hand is not me, my head is not me, and my feet is not me, or my body is not me, my stomach is not me. Then where is the me? Where is the me? I think that's all the time say me. And very powerful this me. So I think what my views, one of my mudra is as soon as you look at inside your mind and you begin to discover it, you begin to experience alone as the mind, that one thing that comes up is fear and doubt, what they call it. doubt, fear of doubt. And that fear and doubt is the best weapon of the me. Me still, me survive because of the fear and doubt. If there is no doubt and no fear, then me is powerless. Me is powerless because you try to locate it, you don't know where you can find it. So therefore, as soon as me, you discover it, slowly you are discovered not located your me, and the fear rise. Fear protected to the me. Okay, now I'm going to help with you all the transmission. Simple way is what Tibetans used to call old lady's finger. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's the most biggest profound teaching in my Buddha. There's 3-4 different methods of people to try to understand. And my Buddha is about I like Gemo in Tibet, it means old ladies. Jutsu means old ladies finger pointy. That is the most profound. That's most profound. Before I go to point fingers, you need to explain a little bit. Because obviously you pay all money over here to have hours. If I don't explain, that's not fair. You know, that's not fair. Because I paid that money, he just point his finger, he's gone. And that's really, then truly my Buddha really will happen. This morning you come in over here, just you're sitting down there, it's all right, I point my finger out. Then that will be really good, you know, good. That's not fair. That's not fair. I know I'm High Lama, but I've been ordinary man. I've been walking like you, and pray out family like you, and so I know the value of all these things. So therefore, I became speech. I became speech. Now we have to explain. Then of course they use so many different words and to try to recognize Limana's mind. I mean, there is so many different methods. And then, of course, many different methods. Of course, one commonly, of course, knows Kagyupa teachings is called for foundation. They call for foundation. And then they do like called complicated, mathematical all, and 100,000 postulations, 100,000 purification, 100,000 overman lives, 100,000 Guru Yoga. That's very mathematical, 100,000. But then I would remember when I was working, one of my friend working class, he wanted to practice sector. I said, okay, it's simple, you do this postulation, simple. And she said, do you have to do 100,000? No. Quality is more than quantity, I said. You do 100,000, the bad quality, so one percentage of good quality, that would be sad. I said to son. I said to that. And then he had a friend who doing 100,000 postulations. And then he come back to me one day lunch. He said, do you think I can do 100,000? Of course, this is your Western mind. And he said, why? I said, when you say that I don't need to do 100,000 postulations, I feel like I journey endlessly. And then my friend who does 100,000, but he counts the numbers. I can use numbers. I think I'll be so happy to do 100,000. So, sort of people, they like sort of some kind of aim. You know? And not the only, I think, Mahamudra teaching says if you aim, that's what Mahamudra, but what I interested my own experience in the West, of course this is not Talupa says, I say this one, is in the West, it's so important the time. We all depend on the time. Say, 8 o'clock, breakfast, 10 o'clock, coffee, 12:30, lunch, 3 o'clock, tea, and 6 o'clock, and then the Lama is going to teach, and 1:30, and 2:30, everything based on the time in the West. And that makes everybody, it become very impatient, because the people in the West you're very impatient, almost say, if you meditate 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, if you don't become enlightened, you give up. What do you think about me? Horrible. 70 years I've been meditating, that's horrible. You will give up now. You say, Chimmy, how long do you meditate? I said, well, it's 70 years. Oh, do you still meditate? I say, oh, right. So, of course, Buddhism, very, very powerful, like Mahamudra is very powerful. My teacher said to me, is deeper. He said, there's no such thing. He said, now finish. And you can reach one stage is high, you meditate, further you stay deeper, you go to further, the deeper. He said, when I complete, of course, the Buddha's theory point of view is you reach the 10 stages. Then that more or less, then you're totally enlightened. But my teacher says it's beyond that. But then Buddha's teacher, authentic teacher, is very good. And what authentic teacher does very interesting is somebody said to me, come and teach me Mahamudra, then I teach Mahamudra, and I teach meditation experience. And then when I complete it, then I say to the student, I said, oh, I can take you that as far as I can. Now you have to go to somebody else who can take it further than that. A Buddhist teacher never says, that's it, now you should not go to this, you should not go that, you should not go that. All the times I remember my teachers, I got 4 teachers, and I told one is higher than him. That's what I thought. One had finished, I went to another one had finished another one. I thought they were going to higher, then I realized all the same. All the same. I was the one who's going round in the circle. This is how you find authentic teachers. If you find any teachers, how do you find authentic is any teachers make you strengthen your practice meditation, then that's it authentic. Any teacher says to you, make you confused, I'm a good one, other one's a bad one, other one's a good one, I'm a bad one, then that's not. It's a strength because when I was in Tibet, I got these 4 teachers, and each one strengthened me. There never ever some sort of separations at all. That I said to many of my students said to me that sometimes many teachers come out, so what do you do, Chimmy? How do I find a right one? I said the right one is he strengthens you. That means you can go many, as much as you like, And it's if somebody who not strength you, make you a little confused. I think that in my view is not so authentic. And then my teacher said something really funny, and I said to my teacher, well, suppose an authentic teacher means somebody who can fly, isn't it? Somebody fly. That I personally think that serious. I found out that then my teacher said to me, oh, you're a bad kid. Do you know bird they can fly? Serious. I said to him, and how would you find a high teacher? He said, well, who can fly? Who can fly? Then I think he said, Jimmy, bird can fly. You're no good man, no good man. You have to look at a love inside the compassion, the love. Loving kindness, compassion. When the Lama said, loving kindness, compassion. And then that's the really basis of big good teachers.
Emma Ho.
Now then, of course, through that book, we all know they talk about us. Samsara is in Nirvana. Not very often now. Tibetan Buddhists they use Nirvana, but I think that's the right word, Nirvana, but really. So then you look at it and say, well, this is the samsara, this is Nirvana. Then almost all, majority of the people in the West, before, not very much now, they think samsara is the object. That's it. Serious. Your house is samsara. Your money is samsara. That people think. And you have a nice clothes, samsara, people think that. And car, of course, all the sort of things they think is samsara. That's not samsara at all. Really serious. Very serious. That everybody thinks, oh, people say, I don't want this car, it's samsara, you know. How are you going to get it? You know? But to get money to run that car is samsara, but not the car. But to get money to run that car is samsara. A little bit like that. And but the car is just a machine. Just a machine. And that's it. Then, of course, we can explain what samsara is, what is nirvana. Then, now, when Orthodox way to explain about samsara is the first they commonly call emotions. And also another word they use is called defilement or something like that, you know, like, And emotion is like petrol. You know, if you want to run your car, no petrol, you can't run the car. So if there's no motions, how are you going to become enlightened? So I don't think emotion is so bad, my views. Of course, every human being have this emotion. Otherwise, everybody will say, this is emotion, I want to get rid of all some kind of pure mind, that kind of thing, go like that. So therefore, for me, emotion is very useful. We can use it. Use it as a fuel, our path, anything like that. And when you make a journey, you have a car and a fuel. You don't have to take it with you. You leave behind. In Tibet now, this is very interesting. I really lot of confuse myself because Tibetan yoga is in Tibet now, this moment. There are two yogas in Tibet at the moment, in Latin yoga. And they live in a remote areas, snow mountains, ices, in a cave. If you go there, look impossible. You think survival, it exists now. True. And these yogis think there will be 100 in Himalayas because these two yogis in Tibet have to fight, struggle to survival. They're not allowed. Go and meditate, because outcast in the communist system, anything like that. And they think that there will be 100 yogis in Himalayas fly around, you know. Really, then I said, no. They don't understand. How could be people free Himalayas? Why don't all these Lama monks go into the cave in the mountain to be yogi? Very, very interesting. I don't understand is Himalayas area is going very corrupted now. Very corrupted going. The reason I said corrupted is none of them fly wrong. That's what I'm talking about. There are good people out there, but a lot of people really still don't believe me. No. And I said when I was my age of 12 or 13, we go getting some food. Sort of one yogi living like 1,000 feet in a cave. When it brings some food, he slowly comes out. And slowly he lifts up. Everybody really think, oh, come on, Chili, that is job. Nobody can fly around like that. Nobody fly like that. At the time when I was in Tibet young, if aeroplane come up there, we be so excited. We run outside to look for the aeroplanes. But a few lamas fly around, nothing, nobody looking. Nobody looking. That's such a difference, really. Some of my friends, colleagues, they really still refusing me. I said, Jimmy, really? Some yogis, they fly. I said, yes. Oh, come on. They kind of, they was really. That's what I mean is I say to you all resolve. I think human being is necessary. And if you're there, you can say this final, that really something inspired you. I think our human beings needed that kind of thing to stand in our faith, not faith in confidences. And in India law, if it died, you have to cremate it 24 hours. Otherwise, against the law. Tibetans, they don't cremate it, 3 days. And then Tibetans refuse. India put people in the prison. And India said, why? You're not allowed to 3 days. They said the soul is in his heart. He doesn't go away from your body 3 days. So then there's our Lama, it's really wonderful. This is very good. And he said, oh, I'm ready to go now. Tell police, judge, district office, come over here. I'm going to show that soul does not go away from the body. And India government, everybody come, yeah, what he? What is he going to do? He said, okay, now, all there, yes, I was there, all there, 1959, refugee camp. And then he said to all the Indians, now I'm going to go, now I'm going to die. Indian government said, I'll stay my soul in my body 49 days. My body will not decay, my body will not move. India said, well, this is really looking forward. We heard about this myth story in the Tibet, and within a second he passed away. Cross leg and meditation postures, 49 days. India police, everybody crying. It really exists, really exists. Then India says, what do we have to do? Forgiveness, everything, while the Tibetans will do offer butter lamps. And he burned a lot of butter lamps. Then in India now they don't remove the rule about it. If Tibetans keep that body for 3 days allowed because this Lama they help. But then really, front page all in the newspaper said, oh gosh, we couldn't. And he said that, and the doctors, the medications come out, test it, dead. But there's heat inside her, one heat, that's all. But no punching, no punching. Oh yes, old lady's finger soon. Yeah, very good. Because I called Telopa, I said, please, help me today, These people in Cornwall and all my students from London, long way they come. I don't want them disappointed, so therefore you call me Telopa, and very often my talk is too long and I pass the time. Okay, now, old lady's finger points. Then you could now just say, what is the samsara, what is the nirvana? Then I would say, to old lady's finger point is samsara and nirvana is not more than your thought. That's it. And if you know that, then you liberate it. As simple as that. Then other things very often, old lady's finger point is when you go to see the Lama, when you go to see like Naropa goes to Telopas, and you sit there, sit next with him, and then you receive the transmissions. Sometimes they never say one word. You get a transmission. Sometimes, yes, some word come and say, okay, now you have received the transmissions of my Buddha. But very often, no word. No word. And I had that experience. I had that experience very much in Tibet. And the Sangha Telephone, Sangha Telephone. I wanted to say to my teacher, I want a real transmission. I want a real transmission. And he said, yeah, okay. And then Samuel emerged other people. I got a piece of paper, serious, I did a serious paper. Oh, good. I got a pen, piece of paper. I sit in front of him, sit up, and I read it here from him. You know what he said? Oh, that's it. Serious, not even. Then our tradition, we don't argue. Don't argue. That's it. That's quite strange. Really serious. I don't feel very much at all. Don't feel very much at all. Then I went home. Sat down there. What did he do? I changed, transformed whole my mind. That was the transmission. I never ever have experience like that because with Naida Sadhyanyamba I studied 300 pages. I know theory, everything. Never ever have that experience. Just this. I was telling the experience, Pen, I thought he was going to tell me A, B, C, D. He didn't. He said, that's it. And one of my teachers said, you're very lucky. He said, that's it. Something they don't work. Sometimes he pat on you. That's it. Or sometimes he could like signals like that. So everything, no really word. That means my Buddha, you will not able to express in a word. If you can express in a word, it may not be my Buddha. That's exactly the same. So therefore, I think all I say today is I had a wonderful time last year. And also, I'm very flattered to my friends. They all come from London, other part of the place today over here to meet me. And I say to everybody, thank you to meeting my mind. And so therefore you do have these transmissions. And when you go home, you sit there, your mind changes. Oh God, what did that old man done? See?